So about 18 months ago a woman and connected and sporadically chatted every few weeks, noting of substance until about 8 months ago when our communication became drastically more consistent. We started talking/texting every day, eventually feelings developed, and I'll add that we both live on opposite sides of the US. After about 3 months, I decided to fly out and just meet her and see what these feelings really were. I was under the impression that her and her husband were separated but still living in the same home. That didn't bother me because my ex and I lived together for several years after we split, so I understand the unique situation. I flew out and spent a few days with her and it was incredible. The feelings were definitely real, and as time went on things got more serious and we're starting to plan a life together and integrate both sets of kids, hers and mine. I flew out for Valentine's Day on a whim to propose and she said yes. One of the best days of my life. Just to add, I've been flying back and forth at least once a month to see her for a few days, so basically I'm splitting my time between my home and where she lives. I didn't get to fly out in March for a number of reasons, but the frost chance I got in April I flew out to see her for a couple weeks. Right before I flew out, she decided to tell me that she could no longer go on without making me fully aware of the situation. She said that she's in love with me and wants to spend the rest of her life with me, and that she has every intention of divorcing her husband, but that currently the two of them are not separated. They are still sleeping in the same bed, but that she's just not intimate with him and that she's having an affair on her husband, him. Of course I was upset. If I had known this in the very beginning I would have never pursued anything with her because that's not who I am as a person. But at the point that I'm at now, I'm so emotionally invested, I feel like I'd be unfair to myself if I just walked away and that I have to see this through. My struggle currently is that I told her that in order for her and I to have any kind of future, she has to tell him that she wants a divorce so that process can start and move forward so we can start to move our lives forward together. She's scared of telling him, she's afraid of how he might react being that she's very non-confrontational, and she's scared of all the uncertainty. My issue is that I just want all of this out in the open so I don't have to feel like the other guy anymore. I've tried helping her by giving her advice and suggestions on how to tell him, etc. She says she knows she needs to tell him, but she's just afraid of having that conversation with him. I already had plans to move to that state simply because my ex and kids are relocating there anyways, and so all those things are starting to happen, and now I'm looking at relocating too. I don't want to wait anymore, I just want it all out in the open. My questions are: should I give her a firm ultimatum with a set date on when she need to tell him by? Should I just tell him myself or have some third party do it that's not really connected to me? Any suggestions or positive and healthy input is greatly needed. Thanks. Comment 1. One more perspective. My husband and I lived apart because of addiction issues. It was healthier for me and safer for our kids. But we were still married and trying to fix things. He met someone at a meeting that lived far away and told her all kinds of stuff. She knew he was married and separated. He just wanted someone who wanted to be with him when he was drinking. Well, she found out we were still very married although living apart. She convinced herself that she was a good person, as he told her that I didn't understand him. I'd been taking care of him all along. Still, she saw herself as the better person, me as the one who stole him back. Even though I pushed for divorce when I found out about her. His decision to stay and fix things. Which he did. She's not being truthful to her husband or you. And you may not have intended to be that person, the AP. It is your choice from here, who you want to be. But I am pretty certain she's not worth all this and you should deserve better. I'm going to edit this to add one more comment. They spent a great deal of time discussing our kids and how to help them through this new future. He just did it to make her feel important. Her kids probably just see you and your kids as a play date, or later you'll be the one who ruined their parents' marriage. Comment 2. Remember in the movie Independence Day when the spaceship is coming through the atmosphere and takes up the entire sky? Now picture that, but it's a giant red flag covering up the sky. Do you want to be one of the morons staring up at the flag saying, well, maybe it's a friendly flag, only to be vaporized? Or do you want to get the hell out of Dodge to safety while the flag rains lies and deception on everyone it comes into contact with? Comment 3. I know you've already gotten a lot of comments, but as someone who just went through this you need to know. You are going to hurt, more than now, more than you can see ever hurting. She's afraid to tell her husband because what she has with him, and it might not even be love, is more valuable to her than what she has with you. Of course she'll tell you she wants to be with you, but you're only an idea to her, an idea of what her future could be. But she is living in a reality with a husband, kids, a home, intertwined families, mixed finances, etc. She isn't leaving him because she doesn't want to right now. How long are you okay being strung along? I recently went through something similar and was hurt in other ways, because people that can do this are not people that truly care about you. I gave the guy an ultimatum. I told him I had strict boundaries and I won't stay around if he tries to cross them. I was just like you, I wanted it to be in the open. I didn't want to be a secret. I didn't want to keep hurting the wife. He told his wife. He didn't even tell her the entire truth about me. He told her he cheated in the past and wanted a divorce. She decided to stay. She did not want a divorce. He called me the next day and told me we can't talk anymore. I was so hurt that I sent her screenshots proving he lied to me and to her for 8 months. Even with the new evidence, she's staying for now. He told me he just assumed she'd leave him once he told her, but since she's not, he needs to stay. Give her time to decide what's next in her life. Ask yourself how long you're willing to wait around for the decision to be made. Ask yourself, if you are a part of this marriage's downfall, publicly, do you even want to be the guy next to her in the end? Now that the guy I was dating is going through a rough time with his wife and I am central to their arguments, I could never be with him. The wife will never want me around her kid, she will always see me as the symbol of her marriage failing, her family falling apart. Comment 4. Okay, so here's my thought right now: forget your emotions for her and use your brain. Ask yourself if someone who willingly imploded their own family with infidelity and stepping out is someone you want to be an example for your kids. What you're doing by pursuing her is cruel to your own kids and will only hurt them in the long run, either by making them despise you for bringing someone like that into their and your lives, or because they will pick up on both her shitty aspects and your pick-me homewrecker affair fog ones. You're only leading your own kids down a trail of unhappiness and broken relationships by bringing her into your children's life and setting the example that both her and your actions are okay or right somehow. Don't doom your kids to a repetitive cycle of toxic or abusive relationships in the future by setting a horrible example now. Do not make them think a relationship built on lies is okay or that it will be successful. Don't teach them that being the other person is okay. Don't teach them that abuse by lying, manipulating, love bombing, gaslighting, and more through cheating is okay. Don't teach them that all of these red flags are okay, all because you're wearing rose-tinted glasses for someone who you never actually knew in the first place, because the woman you love is fake. She put on the persona/character she wanted you to see to reel you in, and she's abusing you too by manipulating you into loving her and then trickle-truthing you now that you're too emotionally invested. You played right into her abusive hands. Be a real parent and don't doom your kids to your own toxic cycles or hers. Comment 5. Look up. Everyone seems to be pointing in one direction. You might have been seeking some validation, but the fact of the matter is that the people here have generally been made to feel a certain way about cheaters. You were cheated on, so you feel a certain way about them too. Now for better or for worse you are part of it again. You can decide to let her go, which will hurt, or you can decide to stay, which will hurt too. Communicate this with her, tell her that there will be insecurities going into a relationship like this because she did in fact lie to you about it. I would also caution you to get a prenuptial agreement with her before you marry. It's not likely, but you may find that you are more compatible with this woman than with anyone else. People always talk about there being more fish in the sea, but the sea is a big ducking place and a fish in the hand is worth 2 in the current. Just know that you are coming into this relationship jaded and you can't give it your all. You will have to work to get past that anyway, and she will have to work to gain your trust because she already broke it. As long as you can get a prenup and basically protect yourself financially from anything that may happen, then throw yourself in. Ultimately, you're an adult who has to live with the consequences of your actions. Thanks you for watching Everyday New Movies. See you soon.